Messmer Stadium, where tonight the Division II playoffs will begin as the Loyola Flyers host the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars. My name's David Winkler, and tonight I'm going to be joined once again by John Carmody. Art Carmody will be on the sidelines. And tonight, John, the Flyers have a big test from the Jaguars of Gretna. The Jags come in, losers of 3 of their last 4, but they were second place in their district. The Flyers, on the other hand, district champions, 4-0 in District 1-3A, come in at 8-2 overall on the season, riding high. What do the Flyers have to do tonight to get a victory and move on to the second round of the playoffs?
Now, one of the things I'd like to see tonight is to see the establishment of the offensive line. The offensive line has really played great this entire year. And really, Reese Ebar has gone over 1,000 yards, and a lot of that has to be attributed to the offensive line. We've talked all year long about the abuse that Reese Ebar has given to the second and the third level of defenses, but it takes getting to that first level for him to get there and put that abuse on those second and third levels. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the offensive line can do against Thomas Jefferson tonight.
On YouTube.
It's going to be a great one, folks. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of great football for you right here from Messmer Stadium. But before we get to that, here are your starting lineups for the Flyers.
At center, senior
Welcome back to Messmer Stadium. 6:35 left before the kick, and we've just had a great fireworks show there, John. Kind of had the crowd on their feet there for a second. Got the blood pumping a little bit.
Without a doubt. That was beautiful.
All right, so the Flyers come into tonight, as we said, 8-2, 4-0, led by Reese Ebar, who went over 1,000 yards in their very last game. A 26-14 win over Mansfield. Also led on offense by quarterback Jacob Lafitte, who's come a long way since getting his first start earlier this year. He's thrown for just over 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns. Wide receivers Trey and A.J. Taylor on the money end of most of those touchdown passes, 15 of them to be exact. So the Flyers come in tonight, John, with a nicely balanced offense so far on the season. Of course, you know, skewing to Reese Barb in the run game a little bit. And a tremendous defense. So, hold on, we're going to have the prayer and the anthem here real quick.
Prayer is senior offensive tackle
Cecilia Shardar with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem.
Special thanks for the fireworks.
So Thomas
display.
Jefferson
Don
comes in tonight
Simon's family.
at 4-6. They were 1-2 in District 11 3A. Again, from the Gretna area, head coach Kenneth Bush. They lost 3 of their last 4, including a 42-0 loss, John, to De La Salle, who is the number 2 ranked team coming into these Division II playoffs. And that game probably really wasn't as close as the score indicates, as the entire second half, or close to it, was played with a running clock. They're led by quarterback Noah St. Pierre, wide receiver Torrey Lee. They've got a couple of big linemen in Chris Sterling and Braden Carr. And Desmond Logan on the offensive line leads the way for his running backs. They're a fairly balanced team, John. They run a lot of eye. And then we talked a bit about what the Flyers need to do. But in reality, the Flyers are favored to win this game. Flyers are the 4 seed. Thomas Jefferson comes in as the 13 seed. Matter of fact, there were a couple of other teams in their district, at least one other, Haynes Academy, that opted out of the playoffs altogether that actually had the same district record. The Flyers haven't won a playoff game since 2008, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. And when I was told that earlier, I honestly didn't believe it, because it sure doesn't seem that long ago that we saw U High come up here and play. But as they reminded me, that was because we had a bye in the first round, and they ended up playing them in the quarterfinals, straight in the quarterfinals. So 2008, I mean, it's been 11 years. So the Flyers, John, what beyond what we talked about earlier in the game, what do the Flyers need to do in a game where they're obviously favored to go ahead and, close that deal, so to speak, and move on to the second round?
Well, when you play teams that we've played this year, you've seen really good athletes in Huntington. We saw it at Green Oaks. We saw it at Bossier. We saw it at Manny. We saw it at Mansfield. They played a lot of teams that really can hit you with big plays. Thomas Jefferson kind of does it a little bit differently. They like to run the offset eye, as you've already talked about. They like to run the ball. They like to do a lot of counters. They like to do a lot of guard pulls on the outside. So what the Flyers have to do in this game is they've got to stay disciplined. They may be the favorite in this game, but you start running out of your lanes and you start forgetting what your assignments are, those kind of plays right there can kill you. We saw it last year when the first playoff game when we had to play St. Louis. Those teams were evenly matched, but St. Louis was able to really run the ball effectively on the Flyers and really cost them that game last year.
So here we go. Kickoff of the Division II playoffs. LHSAA number 5, who is not on the roster, John, so we're just going to have to call him number 5, unfortunately. Takes that kickoff and runs it back to the the 41-yard line. That's where the Jaguars will get it started. Michael Key made the tackle.
Yeah, that kick, probably not exactly what they wanted coming out of the gates. That ball kind of went straight to the up back right there. You'd have liked for it to catch some type of kick, but he was able to field it cleanly and get it up to the 40-yard line.
Once again, red beans and rice for sale to benefit Faith, just $7. You can find it under the bleachers.
John, I can already tell this is going to be a difficult night for the old eyes. The uniforms for the Jaguars are incredibly difficult to tell the numbers apart because they're 2 different colors, dark on the top and light on the bottom.
Yeah, they definitely fade out.
It's very confusing. The Flyers, they don't care what number you're wearing. That's a 4-yard loss on the first carry of the game. Gonzalez on the carry.
There's Jonathan Durrell right there. And again, it doesn't take long to call Jonathan Durrell's name in any game that we've had this year. But he read that perfectly. He read the person pulling out, and he went with him immediately and was able to meet the running back in the backfield.
Noah St. Pierre leads his troops back up to the line of scrimmage for a 2nd and 12. Gonzalez is again going to take that handoff, and he'll get it across the 40 up to the 41. It'll be a gain of 3 and set up 3rd and 9.
Gonzalez, the ball carrier.
Again, that play right there is what we're talking about. That little counter right there on the inside almost broke right there. And that's what the Flyers have to make sure that they do is they stay disciplined, stay in their gaps.
So Flyer defense looks to make a statement here early, first quarter, holding the Jaguars to hopeful 3 and out. St. Pierre drops back to throw, and his pass is complete out to the left to Damon Martin. He's knocked out of bounds at the 45. That's going to be 5 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, it looks like they missed a hold on Jonathan Durrell, the defensive end coming up, which was fine because right there Michael Key just made an outstanding play on the sideline to keep him from getting a first down.
So Martin will stay on to handle the punting duties. Trey Taylor will stand back at his 23. And now he scooches back to around the 20, but we're going to have a flag here.
That might be on the Flyers. It might be a first down.
Let's see. It is on the Flyers. And it is a first down, so not the start you were looking for if you're Coach Steven Jeter, a penalty to give the Jaguars new life here early in the first quarter. Just a silly one at that.
It is, and this is what happens in these games where you're favored. You still have to play discipline. You may think that you have a bull rush going, that you have a chance to block a punt and do something spectacular in these games, but again, those little mistakes is what can cost you.
Again, 10:29 left here in the first quarter. David Winkler, John Carmody, and Art Carmody bringing you all the action from here at Mesmer Stadium. Division II playoffs. And that's going to be Gonzalez again, and he'll once again be stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of one.
Jonathan Durrell again, David. I mean, that's that same play they're trying to run. Jonathan Durrell is such a smart player. I mean, you read his name twice, heard his name twice already today because that is the kind of play he's been making all year long.
Second and 11 after the 1 yard loss. But, John, you know, we talked about this earlier in the game off air. You know, there are certain types of teams that probably could give the Flyer defense a little more trouble than others could. And so far, from this kind of offset eye look, running the ball between the tackles, this is the type of offense that the Flyers typically can handle on defense. Passes incomplete. They wanted Peterson right there, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 11.
Again, that's a play that a lot of teams are going to run that don't throw the ball out. They roll the quarterback out. But again, it's a long play. The receiver's coming from the backside. He's doing a crosser out of it across the middle. There was a pocket there for him to actually receive the ball, and you know, the Flyers need to be aware of that. You know, they're either going to have to, one, pressure the quarterback so the timing is off, or two, drop back and make sure that each one of these little gaps are covered.
So here come the Flyers with another opportunity to get the Jags off the field. St. Pierre looks to throw. He's under pressure. He's able to escape. Looks downfield, and that pass is incomplete, nowhere near his intended receiver.
But, you know, like right there is they brought pressure right there. Ian Birch did a nice job of forcing a pass out there. You know, the defensive front did a good job of penetrating in the backfield, so it disrupted that entire play.
So once again, it'll be Damon Martin back to punt for Thomas Jefferson. Trey Taylor will be back on his 15 or so to handle this one. No wind tonight. Flags are
it's
pretty much dead still. Fortunately, unlike the last time, they still needed 11 to gain a first down, so that'll just make it about half the distance for another first.
Actually, they're calling it on.
Oh, that's right. They're going to march it back the other way this time, so hold the phone.
It looked like everybody kind of got in that set position, which is what allowed the defensive lineman to come across.
Penalty is against Thomas Jefferson.
So that'll make it 4th and 16, and John, we're pretty much back where we were a minute ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Flyers defense needs to, you know, let them pump the football.
And the snap very high, and it's going to be a fake. Damon Martin's got some room around the right side, and he is going to make it. Damon Martin heads up play. I'm not sure if that was what was called, but as it stands, that's a 17-yard gain for Martin, but there is a flag on the play.
They may have thought somebody was downfield early, but if he runs the ball, then they would pick up that flag.
What are you looking at?
The officials with a long discussion at midfield. Clearly, we're not quite sure what the call is. Both teams just kind of standing around waiting for the officials to come to some type of conclusion here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up this flag.
Let's see. I'm about to get an answer here. Call is holding against Loyola. So the play will stand.
Holding against the Flyers.
And the Jaguars
Martin's run
will have a fresh set of down from the Flyer 38.
It's 18 yards and a first down.
Again, this is the Flyer defense, really a fourth down defense, a special team defense that have given up 2 first downs right now. And that doesn't tell you something about how the team needs to wake up. Nothing will.
Hey, you're pointing the wrong way.
So after all that,
10,
9:07 left here in the first quarter. It's a scoreless game, but the Jaguars in their best field position so far on the young game. 1st and 10 from the Flyer 38. Gonzalez going to take the pitch, and he's going to get to about the 37-yard line, so it'll be a 1-yard game, but we have a late flag, very late flag. Jackson and Hammond are there on the tackle for the Flyers, but let's see what that flag is.
They're going to call Luke Hammond for pushing him out of bounds. They're going to tackle another 15 yards for a personal foul, so that's 3 early mistakes by the Flyer defense.
Flag on the play. Dead ball, personal foul against Loyola.
So the personal foul is against Loyola. It's a dead ball foul. They'll mark off 15.
Ball
so
moved to the 21-yard
without
line.
having done much on offense, the Jaguars continue to move down the field toward the Flyer end zone.
Again, they've been aided by, 30 yards of penalties at this point.
So 1st and 10 now from the Flyer 21-yard line. Flyer defense needs to settle down. St. Pierre rolls right, pass is complete. And that ball's going to make it all the way down to the Flyer 6-yard line before he's finally brought down. That's going to be a gain of 15 yards on the pass play.
Really nice little safe pass out there.
That was Heim on the reception.
Pierce Jackson and Joshua Jackson make the stop. 1st and goal from the 6.
St. Pierre is going to hand off that time to Heim, and Heim gets to about the 5, so it'll be a 1-yard gain and set up 2nd and goal from the 5.
This is something Thomas Jefferson likes to do. They like to get into that power I set right there and just try to power the ball through. The Flyers did a nice job of meeting them in the gap.
Gain of 1.
After
2nd down goal from the 5.
So we're going to have a timeout for Thomas Jefferson. They're going to talk about it a little bit. And, John, I think this is a great opportunity for Coach Jeter to settle his troops down a little bit. I think maybe they were it's a little overly hyped up, the fireworks and all the pomp and circumstance, playoffs and all that. It just seems like the Flyers are just a little bit ahead of themselves right now. They need to take a deep breath, slow the game back down a little bit, and start making better decisions.
Well, you know, you can't really fault Luke Hammer on that play on the side.
No, that was a close
That was a
play.
very close call, and that was. But the jumping off sides and then the defensive hold, and really it didn't even matter about the defensive hold. But they had no outside containment for the punter, so the special teams really have to clean things up right now because fourth down has been atrocious so far.
Play, second down and goal from the 5.
So second and goal from the 5, and John, but the reality is, through all this, if they can just make a stand right here, the Flyer defense, you got to call that a win.
Without a doubt.
St. Pierre again is going to hand off to Heim, and Heim is stuck right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll set up a third and goal from the 5. Jack Bodden was the guy there to stick it to Heim.
And again, a great job by Jack Bodden coming down the line right there. They left him unblocked. He's got to get down there. He's the one who is free to make that play. It was a great job of getting down the line and making the play at the line of scrimmage.
This time the pitch goes to Heim, and Heim will get back to the line of scrimmage again, and that is it. That'll set up fourth and goal, and we'll find out right now what the special teams units of the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars looks like, or we'll find out if they don't feel like they have much of a kicking unit. Right now, St. Pierre stayed on the field.
Yeah, I don't see a kicker coming out. And again, I mean, if you're an underdog coming up here, this is kind of a statement right here.
So fourth and goal, and the Flyers with a golden opportunity to erase everything that's happened in the last 10 minutes or so of this football game. St. Pierre hands off to Heim, and Heim's going to be stopped at the 5. Flyer defense gets off the field.
Tackled by Durrell.
Jonathan Durrell, big stop.
It was. Jonathan Durrell did a great job right there, but Cody Kilgarland came in from the nose guard position and really kind of disrupted everything. He got upfield and really didn't make a lane for the running back. The running back had to kind of make a little jump step, and that allowed the defense to really kind of clean it up. Really a great job by Kilgarland as well.
So for the first time tonight, we'll see Jacob Lafitte and his Flyer offense come out to the field.
You like to see the defense come up and rise to the occasion right there on those 2 fourth down situations.
Flyers backed up deep in their own territory, so they need to watch ball security and silly penalties right here. First handoff. No, Lafitte's going to keep that one after sticking it in Ebarb's gut. He's going to keep it. He's going to have some yardage around the left side. First down, Flyers. Just over the 15-yard line out to the 16. That'll be good enough for 11 and a Flyer first down.
That's one of the great things about the maturation of Jacob Lafitte this year is, early on in the games, we really didn't see him run the ball. In the last 3 or 4 games, he has really been a weapon for the Flyers offense doing just that.
So first and 10 from the 16. Flyers out of the shadow of their end zone now. This time Ebarb is going to keep it. He's got a nice hole on the right side. He's going to get a face mask. The official does not call it. We could see that from 100 yards away up in the box. My goodness. How do you not call that?
Second down.
Gain of 7 as it stands. Make it 2nd and 3. And so far,
I think the official is getting a lot of ear from Coach Jeter.
When he should. I mean, that was blatantly obvious all the way up here. Particularly how they called the game the other way coming down the field when Thomas Jefferson had the ball. But no call. That's the way it is. Handoff again goes to Ebarb. Hole on the left side. Ebarb's going to have a first over the 30 out to the 31.
Tackle by number 30.
Gain of 7.
Again, what can you say about Reese Ebarb? I think we've used every adjective that we could use this season for him. He is the train that really just drives it all. I mean, great running there. They continue to utilize him. The Flyers, should be in good shape.
Ebarb again with the carry. He breaks 1 tackle and manages to milk about 3 yards out of that carry when it looked like he could have been stopped in the backfield.
Yeah, most running backs would have gone down on that initial hit. He carried the defender along and actually gained 2 yards out of it.
So 2nd and 7, 4:25
Gain of 2.
Left in the first quarter. No score here from Mesmer Stadium. And let's see. The far official looked like he almost came in calling a procedure penalty. And they're going to get it right, though. Offsides against Thomas Jefferson is the call.
Now, I mean, I don't know how good 51 is, but we have an outside linebacker matched up against Trey Taylor in the slot on the far side. I can imagine that the coaches have to see that.
So 2nd and 3 now after the 5-yard penalty. Ebarb takes the carry. Ebarb's got a nice hole. He's across the 40, out to about the 43. That's going to be a 6-yard gain and another Flyer first down.
Gain is to the 43. That's a gain of 6.
So far, the Flyer offensive line doing a nice job of controlling the line of scrimmage.
And we talked about that in the pregame. Really, I think that is one of the keys to this game.
Taylor goes in motion. Lafitte's going to attempt his first pass of the night, and it's going to be complete out to the right to A.J. Taylor. He'll be knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
You know, when he threw that, I thought that ball was drifting on him. Man, A.J., really, it was a great pass and really a great athletic catch by A.J.
It's a 14-yard gain on the throw. Flyers in business now on the right side of the 50 in Jaguar territory. Handoff goes to Ebarb again. There's going to be a flag on the play. It's about a 5-yard gain if it stands, down to the 30, let's say about a 4-yard gain, down to the 39 of Thomas Jefferson. But let's see what the flag is.
Reese Ebarb, I think, looks like he said is maybe a face mask. Looked like he was kind of signaling to the coaches.
Well, they missed the last one, so I guess 1 out of 2 is not bad. Personal foul face mask, so that'll be a 15-yard penalty. And that will march the ball all the way down to the Jaguar 24, where the Flyers will now have it 1st and 10.
First down, Flyers.
No score here in Mesmer Stadium, but the Flyers looking to change that on this possession. Handoff goes to Chase Jackson. Jackson's got some running room. Chase Jackson across the 10.
Chase Jackson.
It'll be a 15-yard gain for Jackson. That'll set it up 1st and goal for the Flyers from the Jaguar 9.
You know, he really got a key block right there from Trey Taylor, one of the smallest people on the field. Just a great block to free him up.
Jackson moves left side, leads for Ebarb. He'll get it down to about the 7, so it'll be a gain of 2. Set up 2nd and goal from the 7.
What can you say right there? That is a linebacker right there that Reese Ebarb just met at the line of scrimmage, and that linebacker he took for about a 2 or 3 yard ride. Really an impressive run.
Ebarb's going to take the handoff. Reese Ebarb across the goal line. Touchdown, Flyers! Reese Ebarb with a 7-yard touchdown run. And the Flyers take the early lead 6-0 with 2:05 left here in the first quarter.
One of the great keys about that right there is, as we talked in the pregame, David, that, you know, those runs were all about 5-6 yards. So, you know, you have to credit the offensive line for creating those openings. It wasn't the 10 to 15 20-yard runs where the third and second levels of the defense are being attacked. Those were all little 5-yard runs, so credit their offensive line.
And the Mansour kick is good, so your score here from Mesmer. Late in the first quarter, Flyers 7, Jaguars nothing. we're having some technical difficulties with our sideline camera, so unfortunately Art Carmody, who's normally pretty good at that kind of stuff, isn't going to be able to bring us pithy commentary, at least for the moment. Hopefully we can get that sorted out before this game's over with.
Yeah, the television audience is definitely missing out on something without having Art chime in.
95
So it was a
yards
95-yard drive, John,
in 10 plays.
after the Flyers made numerous silly mistakes, allowing the Jaguars to go all the way down the field to start the game. The Flyers are able to hold up in a great goal line stand inside the 5 and then march it right back down 95 yards for a Flyer touchdown.
It's exactly what you would want to see. And again, the offense did a great job of just taking what the defense was giving them.
And another special team snafu right there, John, as the kick goes out of bounds.
Kick out of bounds.
So right now,
19.
Coach Mitchell cannot be happy with his troops.
Yeah, I imagine that there's, and that one is, I'm not sure about. I mean, the angled kick
It'll
on
be
the
Thomas
sideline,
Jefferson ball at the
right there,
35-yard line.
you might want to consider, kicking it into the middle where where the return team is not. I mean, I don't know about the angled kicks right there because I don't know that there's a deep threat that you're really.
Yeah,
trying to
that's kind of what I was
avoid.
thinking. I mean, does this team really have that kind of speedster that you need to worry about? It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, this is a team that neither you or I have laid eyes on, other than a few game film shots. They're down from the New Orleans area, so a somewhat unfamiliar opponent for the Flyers. Matter of fact, I'm not sure the Flyers have ever played Thomas Jefferson.
I don't know in our history these two teams ever met.
So here comes Noah St. Pierre for his second possession of the night. And he's going to hand off inside that time to Heim, And Heim is going to pick up maybe a yard, make it 2nd and 9. Jack Bodden and Sam Zwack on the tackle for the Flyers.
Gain of 1.
So right there on
Second down
that
and
little
9.
trap right there, the linebackers have to stay at home right there, and Jack Bodden did a perfect job of sitting right in the gap.
This time Pierre is going to roll out to his left, and that pass is incomplete. He wanted Damon Martin, but it was really nowhere near it, and he was well covered, even had he caught it.
Yeah, that's what I want to see from the defense right there. Sam Swak played that great. He had outside containment on the quarterback. He put pressure on him. So, therefore, the defensive backs were all over the receivers. The quarterback really didn't have anywhere to throw that football.
So 3rd and 9, the Jaguars need the 45 for a first down. St. Pierre's going to look to throw. He's going to tuck it, step up into the pocket, and the Flyer defense is having none of that. It's going to be a 2-yard loss and set up 4th and 11.
St. Pierre brought down by Birch.
That looked like really kind of a design delay quarterback draw.
It's a loss of
You really
2.
don't see Thomas Jefferson run that little spread
4th down
set
and
that
11.
they set right there. And so, when he went back to pass, he sat there and thought, well, I don't know. And as soon as he took off, it made sense that it looked like they were running a draw right there. Ian Birch did a great job of just staying there. His athleticism made the play.
So Martin, he'll punt to
Snell
Jackson
back to
and
receive.
Snell, who are standing on their 38. Last time he kept it. This time he actually is going to punt it. And Snell will return
Snell
it just across
with a
midfield
7-yard return.
to the
Back on
Jaguar
Mitchell Stewart.
48. And that's where the Flyers will have it 1st and 10.
All right, we were giving a little bit of grief to the special teams. I'm going to give a lot of credit right there. So you can tell that they did a good job of scouting that team right there. Because having Snell back there as a second
1st and 10
returner
Flyers.
right there was really a smart move, and he was able to field it cleanly and advance the football.
So here comes Lafitte. And he'll hand off to Ebarb. Ebarb is going to cross the 45 and carry 3 or 4 Jaguars down to the 41. That'll be a gain of 7 and set up 2nd and 3.
I mean, again, credit the left side of offensive line for the Flyers right there. Thomas Murphy kicking out right there is a huge hole for Ebarb to go through. And so, again, I mean, some of these, the defense is going to get tired of Ebarb hitting them, and then some of these things are going to break for bigger runs as we go along.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Good news so far if you're a Flyer fan. Flyers lead it 7-0. Looked like it could have gone the other way early, but the Flyers were able to recover from getting knocked around early and take a 7-0 lead. So this one's gone about, other than the early snafus, John, this one's gone about like I think we would have expected. The Jaguar offense really not able to generate much. Their best offense has been Loyola penalties so far, honestly. And the Flyer offense, more or less, able to move the ball down the field.
Yeah.
I think so far, other than some of the mistakes, Coach Cheater's got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting what we usually get from the Flyer defense, which is just sound play across the board. The defensive line, Sam Swat, Cody Kilgarwin, Jonathan Durrell have played their usual great football. And then between Michael Key and Jack Bodden and Ian Birch and Luke Hammeter, cleaning up the stuff on the second level. I mean, this is what they've been doing all year long.
So the Flyers will move towards the north end zone now as we start the second quarter. Lafitte's going to look to throw, and that pass is incomplete. He wanted A.J. Taylor.
Incomplete. He's hit it
a little bit over his hands right there.
And that was a touchdown right there. I mean, that was a great play call. A.J. made a nice move. He just needed about a second more of separation, and then he really went able to take that to the house.
So 3rd and 3 now. And let's see who moved. It's going to be offsides against the Jags, so that'll be an easy first down for the Flyers there. The penalty will give the Flyers a fresh set of downs at the Jaguar 36. It looks like we're going to get a timeout on the field now. Let's see, false start.
Now that's a weird one. I'm not sure on that one.
Looks like did they call that on Lafitte? I think they called that on Jacob for he does kind of that
against the Flyers.
Very animated hard count sometimes where he kind of jabs his arms, and I think maybe they got him for being a little too animated. Well, Lafitte was making the only reason I say that it's a little bit of speculation because obviously the officials don't have mics here at the stadium, so we can't exactly hear what or they don't call the number out anyway. But he was talking to Lafitte, and Lafitte was making that arm motion to the official like, hey, I didn't do that. But pass is incomplete, but there is a flag. It was intended for Brandon Williams, but I think we may get a little pass interference here, John.
Yeah, he was kind of late throwing that thing. I wasn't sure if he wanted to throw it or not. The defensive back did get there a little bit early, but again, it's one of those judgment calls.
Yep. So pass interference against the defense is the call, and that'll move the ball down to the Jaguar 26. It's going to be, let's see, they're going to go ahead and, first down Flyers. It's right there on the line of game.
15-yard penalty and a first down for the Flyers at the 26.
And that pass is incomplete, way over the head that time of Trey Taylor.
2nd and 10.
But that play was about to be blown up, too. Thomas Jefferson read that well, so really overthrowing that was probably the best thing that could have happened right there.
We'll give Jacob credit and say he did that on purpose.
I hope so.
2nd and 10 now. Handoff's going to go to Ebarb. Ebarb's got a big hole. Ebarb down to the 12-yard line. That'll be good enough for another Flyer first down. Gain of 14 on the play.
And that is a great example right there of the offensive line's job. They created that hole. The safety came up, and safety's much smaller than Reese Ebarb. He didn't want any part of that and kind of whiffed at the tackle, which really allowed Reese to gain 10 extra yards.
Lafitte looks to throw. He's got a man. Touchdown, Flyers! A.J. Taylor on a 12-yard touchdown throw from Jacob Lafitte. And with 10:55 left here in the first half, the Flyers now have a 13-0 lead.
Really a nice play call right there. Really rolled out, gave Jacob just that extra second to allow A.J. to release a little deeper. A really nice throw on the run by Jacob Lafitte as well, and a great grab by A.J. Taylor.
So Matt Monsour will look to get his second extra point of the evening, and we got a flag first. False start against the – whoa. He called a false start, but then pointed at the Jags. Not really sure what that's all about, considering it's kind of hard for them to do that.
I'm not sure what did they march off a yardage there?
Yeah, offside. So he changed his call. Flyers declined it. Yep. So move it up.
So why wouldn't they allow them to have the kick?
Exactly. They should never have stopped that. The kick, they should have just taken the point and move on, but
to decline it.
Not really sure. Now they're moving it back to the original spot for a kick because they declined it. Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of sense what was going on right there.
He wants the extra space. The only reason you would do that is that he wanted the extra room.
Oh.
And that kick is good. So your score here, 10:55 left in the first half. Loyola 14. Thomas Jefferson, nothing.
You know, we've gotten to see what we thought we wanted to see at the beginning of this game. The offensive line has really kind of set the tone. And Reese Ebarb, of course, is making the second level pay for it. And as we said, it's going to be something that the second level is not going to want to do that very long with the way Reese Ebarb runs the football. And so I can imagine that it's going to be even more and more successful as the game wears on.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of felt like that Thomas Jefferson might not have the personnel or play the style of football, if you will, especially on the offensive side, that could give Loyola many problems, and I think that's kind of what's panning out so far tonight. Monsour's kick will drive. Let's see, that's Ronald Martin back to the 10, and he'll return it up to the 25. It'll be a 15-yard return, and that's where the Jaguars will have it first and 10.
Let me just comment one more time on that. That I like we talked about. I don't mind kicking deep in that scenario. I'm glad that's what the decision was, because again, I don't see like we talked about, no disrespect to Thomas Jefferson, I don't see the breakaway capacity. And so kicking it, center deep or angle deep is really, I think going to be an effective way to go about things.
So let's see what the Jaguars do here. And St. Pierre's going to look to throw, or at least act like it, and he finally does, and that pass is nearly intercepted. Great coverage that time by Pierce Jackson.
27, Chase Jackson.
And Pierce was a little upset with himself. I think he thought he should have come up with that one.
Well, I don't know if he felt like he should intercept that ball. He made a fantastic play to get around him, not hit the receiver, and actually knock that ball down. It was a really athletic play.
So 2nd and 10 now. Timeout, Thomas Jefferson. Take this opportunity to thank our All-American sponsors, Auto Body Express, Baker Machine, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Jimmy Granger and Cane River Auto Adventures, Dr. Peter Nasser, Home Federal Bank, Graf Orthodontics, Specialist Hospital and Orthopedic Specialist, Sure Access MD, the Think Network, River City's Interventional Pain Specialist, and American Screening. 2nd and 10, we come back from the timeout here.
Resuming play, 2nd and 10.
St. Pierre again is going to look to throw. Set up a little screen out to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez has a nice play there. He'll pick up about 12 yards and a Jaguar first down.
Pass is complete to Gonzalez.
Again, that's one of the things that the Flyers are going to need to be watching for. You can see that, Thomas Jefferson really shouldn't have the ability to really kind of get down the field on us. So as the quarterback's backing up, if you're one of those defensive linemen, you need to really be thinking about the screen passes, because you come upfield too much and you're going to put too much pressure on your linebackers to make all those plays.
So first down from their own 36, go the Jags. Again, St. Pierre is going to look to throw, but he'll tuck this one. He's got some room around the right. Nifty little run that time from St. Pierre. Takes it up to the Jag 48-yard line. That's an 11-yard gain and another Thomas Jefferson first down.
Again, right there, Sam Slock actually went inside. He had good outside containment on the quarterback, and then he went inside, and the quarterback rolled around on the just outside of him, and that is what really kind of created that big opening right there.
So the Jaguars looking to cross midfield for only the 2nd time tonight. And again, St. Pierre's going to look to throw, and again he's going to keep it, and he'll be thrown out of bounds
St. Pierre
by Ian Birch at the 49. That'll be a 1-yard gain, make it 2nd and 9.
2nd down 9.
Again, I mean, the Flyers need to be watching that. That's going to be likely what Thomas Jefferson's trying to do. They're trying to get the quarterback on the outside, let him try to run, try to get positive yards and things. Them trying to throw deep, I don't think is going to be their way of getting back in this game. But they can certainly try to nickel and dime their way down the field.
The 2nd and 9. St. Pierre under pressure, and he's going down. Ball out! Ball's out, but it looks like the Jaguars were able to get back on it. It's going to be about a 3-yard loss. Birch and Durrell got there and brought St. Pierre down in the backfield.
A loss of 3.
So that'll make it 3rd and 12.
Again, these rollouts are designed for the quarterback to kind of decide what he's going to do. If he's going to try to make some little safe pass there or just try to turn it up. And so they're pulling guards out in front. They did a nice job. The Flyer defense did a nice job of coming upfield and really stymieing him getting to the outside.
St. Pierre steps up into the pocket, steps back. He wanted Torrey Lee that time, but that was a wobbling duck, if you will, that really never made it there.
I tell you what, though, again, I mean, we're going to be calling his name all night. Jonathan Durrell, again, right there. He came upfield. The quarterback wanted to run inside of him, and Durrell didn't give him that alley. He stayed right where he was, and so as soon as the quarterback committed to going up that gap, Durrell closed down that gap, and the quarterback didn't have anywhere to go. So, again, he's just throwing the ball away at that point. Great job by Jonathan Durrell.
So just when you thought the Jaguars might cross midfield, the Flyer defense had other thoughts. And they are now poised to get the ball back. Damon Martin looked like he wanted to run another one. But as it is, he'll get off a pretty decent punt. It'll roll inside the 20 down to the Flyer 18.
36-yard punt.
And that's where the Flyer offense will get it started with 8:35 left in the first half.
Flyer ball.
They'll have it first and 10 from there. It looks like from the first few punting opportunities the Jaguars have had that Damon Martin kind of has the green light to roll out and take off if he thinks he can make it.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. Maybe that's what the Flyers were thinking early in the game and why they had those offsides penalties is they may have seen it on tape and were looking to try to push that to make sure that that didn't happen. But again, if you can play kind of a containment defense and, you know, force him to punt the football as well.
So the Flyers need to go 82 yards to put points on the board here. At least to put 6 up. And Lafitte's going to start it off with a nice run up to about the 23-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4.
Gain of 4.
Make it 2nd and 6.
You know, I give Jacob a lot of credit right there. Again, he pulled the ball down. He didn't like what he saw on the throw.
6.
And then, you know, came upfield and you know, kind of danced around a little bit, but you know, getting those 4 yards are really important to keep these drives going.
Taylor in motion. He's going to take that handoff. Trey Taylor is able to get it up to about the 26, which will be about a 3-yard gain and set up a third and manageable 3rd and 3.
And that could have been a much bigger gain right there. Trey was so fast.
Down 3.
The guard pulling out in front of him, he ran into his backside, and so he had to turn it up at that point. If we'd been able to get that block for him, he would have been able to get that lane on the outside of him and really, I think, could have taken it a long way.
Clock's moving, 7:26 left here in the first half. Flyers lead it 14-0 over the visiting Thomas Jefferson Jaguars from Gretna. Pass is complete to Ebarb. Ebar's got a lot of room. Reese Ebarb across the 45. He breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2. He makes it to midfield, and that's where he'll be brought down. That's going to be a gain of 21 and a Flyer first down.
And a great play call right there.
First down.
You know, you could see
Flyers.
Thomas Jefferson coming upfield right there. Is a perfect time to throw that little middle running back screen. They had blockers out in front. Really a well-designed play and well executed by everybody.
This handoff's going to go to Wes Barlow, and Barlow's going to pick up a couple, make it 2nd and 8.
It's a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8.
Flyers in no hurry here. 6 minutes left in the first half. Flyers leading comfortably 14-0 and looking for more. Lafitte looks downfield, and that pass is complete, snagged by Trey Taylor.
Complete to Trey Taylor.
Be good for about 6 yards and set up a 3rd and 3.
That's a gain of 7.
Let me just tell you, that was an outstanding play by Jacob Lafitte, outstanding play by Trey Taylor. They blitzed right there, and it was really an all-out blitz on Jacob. He stood in the pocket and actually took the hit and delivered the football. And Trey, it had to be a quick pass, and so Trey was actually covered. He did a great job of catching the football in traffic.
Flyers need the 40. Lafitte's going to look for a lot more than that, and he has Trey Taylor. Touchdown, Flyers! Trey Taylor with a great tight-roping act all the way down the sideline. And with 5:09 left in the first half, Flyers now lead it 20-0. There is a flag on the play. They're going to get the Flyers for a celebration penalty, dead ball, I believe, after the score.
Yeah, Coach Jeter's going to talk to him about why he can't celebrate off the field. So I think he's upset about the fact that the celebration happened, and Trey Taylor never celebrates on the field. He comes off to the sideline. So I think that the White Hat, they're going to have a discussion about that. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I want to go back to that play for a second. Again, Thomas Jefferson was blitzing. It was a great play call to roll Jacob out, and so he had one-on-one coverage at that point.
Yep, they're going to call it. So the Flyers will eat a unsportsmanlike penalty after the score. And Coach Jeter is incredibly unhappy about it. And John, I'm with you. I really don't blame him. It did look to us from up here like whatever celebration there was took place off to the sideline, not on the field of play. And after the Mansour kick, the Flyers now lead at 21-0 and look like they are well on their way to the second round of the Division II playoffs.
You know, we've been in these games in this season. You know, you got to finish them out, okay? I mean, yes, you got control of this game. You've got probably what you would want so far. You've been able to really kind of stymie their offense. The defense has really been able to go down the field. And so, you know, right now it's about making sure that you don't try to do the super heroic things. You're not trying to get 8 sacks in a game, or you're not trying to get, you know, the interception. It's really about playing the way you played these first quarter and a half, playing very disciplined football.
3 minutes and 26 seconds. A 43-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Lafitte to Trey Taylor.
So Mansour looks to kick deep again. That kick will be fielded at the 30-yard line. And Ronald Martin is going to make it up to the 41 of the Flyers. So,
Ronald Martin on the return.
Didn't see that one coming, John. Maybe we need to take back some of what we said earlier.
No, I mean, you know,
30-yard return.
Again, you know, that was more of a sky kick. He didn't really kick it deep. And again, I don't want to question the sky kick when you've already been assessed 15 yards of penalties. You know, seems
first and 10 to 41.
Not a question. Well, I might want to try to kick it deep or squib it or something to make it hard to manage.
So first and 10 from the 41. Flyer defense needs to stiffen up right here. Gonzalez is going to take the handoff, and he is going absolutely nowhere. He'll be brought down about a yard shy of the line of scrimmage. Looks like they may give him forward progress at the 41. No gain on the play. Snell and Jackson on the tackle for the Flyers, and it'll be second and 10.
You know, that is Snell coming up from the safety position, which is what he has to do in that situation. He has got that outside containment right there, and he came up beautifully. It's great to see him back. He had an early season injury, and so he's only been back the last couple of games, but it looks like he's showing no ill effects of the injury earlier.
St. Pierre throws complete. He got his receiver, Torrey Lee, that time, and Lee will pick up about 9 yards, and that'll set up a 3rd and 2. Maybe make it 8 yards. 3rd and 2.
3rd down and 2.
Key on the stop for the Flyers.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised, of course, if this is already 4-down situation for Thomas Jefferson.
And that time, the Jags are able to move it down to the Flyer 26. That'll be good enough for a Jaguar first down. So
complete to Lee.
The Jaguars looking to make a little bit of noise here at the end of the first half.
Again, the Flyers might start pressing these receivers just to make it a little bit more uncomfortable. Those are 2 pretty easy throws that he was able to make right there. Imagine that Coach Jackson going to probably have them pressing up a little bit here.
St. Pierre's going to roll right and look downfield one more time. And that pass is tipped just past the line of scrimmage, and it'll fall incomplete. Luke Hamner got there.
Yeah, Luke did a great job right there. He had 2 receivers that were kind of running to the sideline right there, and Luke was kind of between both of them. He did a nice job of knocking that ball away. Almost came up with the interception.
3 minutes, 21 seconds left in the first half. Flyers lead at 21-0. But the Jags looking to put something on the board here before halftime. St. Pierre under pressure, and he is going down. He'll lose about 6 yards on that play, John, and set up a 3rd and very long.
Well, you know, you have to give Jack Bodden a ton of credit right there. He just came up there. I'm sorry, I think that was Durrell who came upfield, and the pulling guard got out there and really was able to kind of hit him squarely. And he was on the ground, and he still made the tackle.
So 3rd and 15, the Jags need the 16-yard line of Loyola for a first. Again, St. Pierre under pressure. He does good just to get it off. And let's see, they say the ball hit the ground first. Pass is incomplete. He wanted Patrick Arriaga. We saw that guy. We saw that young man's name early on and just knew that it was going to give us problems when it came up.
I want to go back to that play right there. The 2 defensive ends just played outstanding. Durrell and Swack are really coming hard on those edges, trying to contain the quarterback. Really doing a great job of disrupting the offensive timing.
All right, so 4th down. Flyers want to get the Jags off the field here. Again, Jags need the Flyers 16. St. Pierre's isn't going to get anywhere near that. That's going to be an intentional grounding penalty. As that time, Ian Birch forced him into a little bit of a mental mistake there with the pressure.
So, I mean, excellent execution. Luke Hammer right there, Ian Birch right out there on the outside. But I give Coach Jackson, that was a great defensive call. Everybody knew their responsibilities, and they were on him, you know, as quickly as he was able to try to get outside.
Grounding is the call. It'll be Flyer ball.
So the Flyers will have it 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at their own 48-yard line with 2 minutes, 23 seconds left here to go in the first half and all 3 timeouts. So, John, the Flyers in great position to put even more points on the board and really kind of put this thing out of reach here right before halftime.
You're exactly right, David.
And ordinarily you wouldn't say that, talking about putting it out of reach at the half. I mean, crazy things happen, but Thomas Jefferson, there you go.
There's
crazy things happen. And Thomas Jefferson gets it back right there. They're going to have it 1st and 10 from the Flyer 40. You know, my point I was about to make was the Flyer offense just really hasn't shown that they're able to move the ball with any kind of consistency to make up 4 scores. But if the Flyers do things like that, then maybe we've got something else to talk about. Hopefully we won't see any more of that. 2:18 left first half. Jags now have it at the Flyer 40.
Again, that was a little
Loss of 8 on the play.
a little lazy on the exchange right there, and those kind of things hurt you when you're in these kind of games. These are the kind of things.
First
you
and
want
10,
to make sure
Thomas Jefferson
you
at the
stay
Loyola
clean.
40.
So St. Pierre and his offensive unit look to take another crack at it. He's going to go downfield. He wants it all right here, and that pass is going to be incomplete, nearly intercepted that time. I believe, John, that is Alex Snell,
It was
who almost
Alex
came
Snell,
up with it.
And he was going stride for stride, and he really actually made the more athletic move to actually catch the football.
So 2nd and 10.
The Flyer defensive ends really have to continue to make sure that they contain the quarterback. They're trying to get him outside so that they can run these longer passes.
St. Pierre pass is going to be complete that time out to the left. It'll be a gain of 4 on the play. Martin on the reception.
Snell makes a stop.
Again, another little quick, safe pass right there. I mean, that's kind of what Thomas Jefferson's been effective with, is making these little short passes. The Flyer defense has been giving them a little bit of a cushion. They don't want to let anybody get behind them, which is smart.
The clock is moving. Got just over a minute and a half left here in the first half. The Jags have 1 timeout left. This time, we're going to have the handoff. And looks like that's going to be Frank Smith on the carry. And he'll get it down to the Loyola 27, where Jonathan Jackson will stop him, but that will be good enough for a Jaguar first down.
Yeah, that's a nice play call right there. Trying to get outside the defense. They're really able to turn the defensive end for the Flyers pretty easy right there, and so really created a big lane.
Again, St. Pierre looks for that safe pass, and it's a complete one more time. He got Arriaga again.
Pass complete to Lee.
Excuse me, that was Lee.
Dylan Williams, Michael Key make the stop at the 16.
And the Jags now have it first down and 10 from the Flyers 16-yard line. But the clock is moving down to 36 seconds. They still have a timeout if they want to use it. St. Pierre throws, pass, complete, and
St. Pierre's pass
Damon
complete.
Martin will make the catch. Take a pretty big shot that time and hang on.
To Damon Martin.
Snell came in and almost wanted to knock that ball loose. Big hit, but wasn't able to. Clock continues to move. 26 seconds.
Down 6.
Run that clock! You guys doing this!
The referee is going to go ahead and stop this. The official in the booth did not move the clock here in the stadium. He assumed the ball was out, and the official said he was down. So they made him do a 10-second runoff. There's now 8, 7, 6 clocks moving. And let's see, they're going to, I guess, call a timeout with a couple of seconds left. They've got one to use, and looks like nope, the clock's now stopped at 5 seconds. I really don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. They stopped the clock because he thought it was out of bounds, and so it stopped. And he kept signaling to roll the clock, and 10 seconds easily ran off right there.
Well, it looked like the official told him to run it off to make up for the time that he didn't run, but I'm still not quite. Now they're resetting the clock. Here we go. So we'll see. They're trying to get it right here. My guess is they're going to stop somewhere around 15 seconds.
I agree with you, Dave. I think that's going to be the right
Yep,
thing.
they're going to say 20. So 20 seconds. Jags do have a timeout, and they're going to use it right now. So 20 seconds left here in the first half. Flyers lead at 21-0.
Thomas
But
Jefferson.
the Jaguars sitting on the Flyer 12-yard line with probably their well, I guess you can't say it's their best opportunity to score. They did have it down to the 5 early in the first quarter, but weren't able to punch it in from there. Flyer defense will have another opportunity right here, John, to do what they did early in the first quarter, and that's hold the Jaguars out.
I really, right now, they have no timeouts left. So, the thing you don't want to do is get beat deep. Okay? I mean, you want to keep people in front of you and tackle them in bounds, and it's going to be really hard to run another play after that. So,
and not that they would even do it anyway, down 3 scores, but they may just want to get something on the board going into halftime. So you may see a field goal opportunity here if it comes down to it, but we haven't seen anything out of their kicking game to suggest they even have a legitimate field goal kicker.
I'm betting they're either going to be rolling the quarterback out or they're throwing to the end zone right here to make sure that time doesn't run out on them.
Second down 6 for Thomas Jefferson.
So 2nd and 6, 20 seconds left, no timeouts. They would need the 6-yard line for a first down. And Pierre going to look downfield and lob it up. Pass is incomplete, but there is a flag in the backfield.
By Joshua Jackson.
It's going to be a roughing the passer penalty. Looks like they got Cody Kilgarland for a roughing the passer right there, John. And I'm not sure how legitimate the call was in terms of roughing him up. It looked pretty weak from up here, but he called it.
And that's a big penalty right there. I mean, the quarterback draw could work at this point. You got 13 seconds left. There's a lot that you can do with 13 seconds now that you're, inside the 10-yard line. You can get 2 plays off.
So 13 seconds now. They ran 7 seconds on that play. So you figure they might have time for 2 plays. So 1st and goal from the 6. St. Pierre's got a man, but he doesn't see it. He wanted Patrick Ariel. God.
Pass is incomplete.
Carmody.
Intended for
Arrilaga.
There you go.
He wanted Arrilaga that time, but Arrilaga did not turn around and look for it.
And it was there. I mean, they had kind of a trip set that was set up, and he just ran a quick little out, and the Flyer defense did not commit to him. Well, the Flyers are doing the right thing. They're kind of bracketing one receiver to one side. It's like we're going to actually have a field goal attempt.
They are going to attempt a field goal here. Now, interestingly enough, Noah St. Pierre is the holder, who obviously is the quarterback. So watch out for some shenanigans. And he's just going to set it down, and Arriaga's kick is good for the moment.
Timeout, Loyola.
But Loyola iced him right before the kick. So Coach Cheater playing a little mind games on a cold winter's night here in Mesmer Stadium. Flyers have 3. You can't take them to halftime with you.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll
they're going to have to reset the clock, right? Was it 4 when they, or 6 when they?
There was 6 when they snapped it. So you're right. So far, it doesn't look like they're too worried about it. What's 2 seconds anyway, John, in the overall scheme of things, right?
It may matter.
All right, so Arriaga
will
look to attempt a 23-yard field goal to put the Jags on the board for the first time tonight. No wind. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is wide left. Flyers will go to halftime up 21-0 here in the first round of the LHSAA Division II playoffs.
Thomas Jefferson 0.
All right, so that's going to do it here for the first half. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to wrap up the first half and bring you the second half from here at Mesper Stadium, where it's looking pretty good. If you're a Flyer fan, Flyers lead at 21-0. We'll be back in a few. You're watching Flyer football on LCP TV. right, welcome back to Mesmer Stadium. About a minute left before we get the second half started. Flyers lead it 21-0 over the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars of Gretna here in the LHSAA Class 2 Division II playoffs. Just a few stats for you here before we get the second half started. Reese Ebarb's run the ball 9 times for 56 yards, although, John, it seems like he's done more than that. Jacob Lafitte, nice first half, 5 of 7 for 100 yards. And the Flyers have dominated the ball, total offense, 184 to 86. So the game playing out pretty much like we thought it would, right? I mean, Flyers lead by 3 scores at halftime. More or less have controlled the line of scrimmage all the way through, John. You know, I'm not going to say we. I probably got a little bit ahead of myself, ready to put the, as Chick Hearn would say, the jello is jiggling, so to speech going there in the end of the second quarter. But what do the Flyers need to do to make sure the jello is jiggling in the refrigerator right now and close this game out here in the second half?
That one's easy, David. Stay focused. I mean, you know, we have seen the lack of focus in this game hurt the Flyers. And really, I mean, we talked about it with 2 minutes to go with 3 timeouts in your pocket. I mean, you really, you know, we were looking to make this a 28-0 game. And again, that extra score in the first half ultimately may not matter, but it really is about, you know, how sharp, how clean, how focused you are as a team. And you know, we talked about this in the games where we played Magnolia Charter, where, you know, you knew that you were going to win the game at some point in the game, and you still want to make sure that you're playing a clean game. You've got young kids. We know that. You've got kids that are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And so, you know, but that's part of what coaching is about, is making them realize the moment, realize that, okay, great, things are going our way. The reason they're going our way is that you're listening to their coaching and you're doing what you need to do. You could see on a few little plays there where the Flyers lost containment, where Thomas Jefferson made them pay. Now, they didn't make them pay like Mansfield can make you pay or Huntington can make you pay. But that's what the Flyers need to realize, is that every play is important. Every responsibility on the field is important. And so every play you need to be laser focused. So my key for this second half is to stay focused.
Well, we're about to get it started here. Flyer special teams unit is already on the field. The Jaguars very late getting out onto the field from halftime. Basically just running straight out of the locker room right up to the where they're going to kick off from. Flyers obviously will get the ball to start the second half and look to build on their 3-score lead. It's a cold one here in Mesmer. Temperatures flirting with ducking into the 30s at this point. As John and I can attest to, as we feel every bit of it up here at the top of the stadium, out in the elements. You know, they don't give us any fancy digs up here.
Yeah, you can see the kids, they're either dancing to the Rolling Stones or they're trying to stay warm down there. So, or maybe a combination of the two, but it is definitely cold.
The 12 or 13 fans Thomas Jefferson brought with him over there look like they're nice and cozy. They're not moving around a whole lot, so they must be warm over there.
Joe, that's one of the hardest things about these games, and you know it well, is that, you know, when you go into halftime, you go into a little bit of warmth, and then you come back outside and it's cold again. You got to get your body, you know, kind of moving around again. So, you know, these kids coming out from Thomas Jefferson's coming late out of the locker room right there. I mean, you know, they've got to get reacclimated to the temperature again.
I think I'm going to give Ian Birch the Special Teams Dance Award. What do you think, John? He clearly is the biggest Rolling Stones fan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to break out the air guitar, but, you know, do his best, Keith Richards. Or he could just do the, Ron Wood just kind of playing the bass, just kind of fluttering along.
So what do you think here, John? Throw caution to the wind. Do we see something tricky from Thomas Jefferson here to start the second half? Nothing to lose?
Yes, I do. I would imagine that almost all the stops might be pulled out for this.
Gonzalez to kick.
Holden Gonzalez will kick for the Jags. And he's going to kick deep. That'll be fielded by A.J. Taylor. A.J. Taylor has a nice return going. A.J. Taylor crosses midfield. He's got a lot of speed. He's finally going to be brought down at the Jaguar 41-yard line.
To the 41.
So that's a 39-yard return for A.J. Taylor, and the Flyers will start the second half with great field position, first and 10 from the 41.
And that's a combination right there of a nice wedge by the upbacks and then really a nice move by A.J., burst of speed to get to that next level.
Feed hands off to Ebarb. Ebarb with a great hole. Ebarb stays on his feet as he often does. And it takes about 4 Jaguars to finally bring him down, but not before he gets down to the Jaguar 28-yard line.
Again, you have to credit the offensive line. Again, that left side of the offensive line, again, creating another huge hole for him to run through. And as he gets to the third level, and the safeties really just don't want any part of Reese right there. It's really the linebackers that are coming in at the very end and taking him down.
Feet looks to throw, pass is incomplete. He wanted Brandon Williams that time.
Pass incomplete, intended for Brandon Williams.
Yeah, I like that play call right there. If the safety had drifted over to where the trips coverage was, so Brandon really did have a one-on-one situation right there. If that pass would have been held just a little bit longer, then he really might be able to clear the linebackers and really been able to catch it and go for distance.
Ebarb is going to take the toss this time. Running hard. Reese Ebarb breaking tackles across the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Riley finally brings him down there, but not before another Flyer first down. It's a gain of 15.
I know I keep coming back to the same theme right there. That was a great job by the offensive line. Those are a bunch of reach blocks that you have to make right there. Plus the outside receivers did a nice job of leading the blocking outside.
Ebarb's going to take the handoff, breaking tackles, and crossing the goal line. Touchdown, Flyers. Reese Ebarb extends the Flyer lead to 27-0.
I like that drive right there. Of course, what's not to like? You really used Reese Ebarb the way that, we've seen him used all year long. But again, the Flyers at the end of the half, they had that drive that we ended up getting a fumble. But you can see where the Flyers are effective. They are effective with the, controlling the line of scrimmage and getting Reese Ebarb yards and getting them into the second and third levels of the defense.
And the monster kick is good, and we finally got our sideline reporter ready to roll. So here we go for the first time tonight, or not. Oh, wait a minute. Waiting. We think we're going to Art Carmody here. And no. So evidently our technical difficulties, much to our chagrin, John, still in play. So 10:37 left here in the third quarter. Flyers lead at 28-0 on a 4-play, 41-yard touchdown drive. 13 yards was the carry for Reese Ebarb to score there for the Flyers. And the now 28-point commanding lead is in the Flyers' hands. Ebar approaching the 100-yard mark on the night now after that drive. 12 carries for 97 yards. Monsoor is going to squib this one. It's going to be fielded at the 22 by Gonzalez, and Gonzalez will get it up to about the 32, 10 yards on the return, and that's where the Jags will have it for the first time in the second half, 1st and 10.
Martin on the return.
I like that squib kick right there.
Tackled
Again,
by
that one
Bond.
bounces around, allows your special teams to get down the
Ball
field.
will be spotted at the
So, they've gone a
32-yard line,
variety of
10-yard
kicks.
return.
And one of the things, of course, it does show is the next team that you're going to play that you've got the array of kicks in your arsenal.
Well, we've certainly shown the array of kicks, John. I don't think anybody could doubt we have an array of kicks. 1st and 10 from the 32. Handoff goes to Gonzalez. Gonzalez will get back to the line of scrimmage. And no mo, 2nd and 10.
Gonzalez, he's tackled by Joshua
After the carry
Jackson
for
and
no
Luke
gain.
Hammer.
Luke Hammer on the tackle for the Flyers.
I think that was more of a Jackson and Jackson tackle right there. That was really a great play. Jackson playing deep safety. That, again, the same thing we talked about earlier with Snell making that play on the outside. That's his ball to make. He
No
read it
gain,
early
2nd
and was
10.
able to get there at the line of scrimmage.
St.
Pierre is looking deep. He's got a man, but he just overthrew him.
St. Pierre's pass.
Boy, he had
intended for
Patrick
Arrillaga.
Arrillaga. Got it right that time. But he just couldn't quite put it in his hands.
Again, I give them credit. That's the first time they really tried to go deep, and it was open. It was there. He was really being pressured. They stunted right there, and Sam Swat came in and really was able to come up the middle and create a lot of pressure. And thankfully so, because if they'd given another second or so, he really might have been able to put that ball where it needed to be to make the completion.
3rd and 10. Jags need the 42. High snap. St. Pierre does a good job of bringing it down. He's going to roll up, and he's going absolutely nowhere. He'll be brought down at the 24-yard line. That's going to be a loss of 8. And surely the punting unit will be coming onto the field for the Jaguars.
Jonathan Durrell.
Jonathan Durrell there first.
Really a nice call by Coach Jackson right there. They slanted the defensive front to the right, and then they sent Luke Hammer and Ian Birch from the backside right there. And so as he was trying to get outside, the defense was already kind of slanting that direction to kind of slow him up. And then the backside, Luke Hammer and Ian Birch were able to catch up with him.
Got a timeout on the field for an injured player. It looks to be, well, he's wearing number 59, but there is no 59 on the roster. So unfortunately, we will not be able to give you an accurate name there. Maybe that's 52. 52, Nicholas Riley, maybe. We said before, these jerseys are so difficult to read from up here because of the nature of the paint scheme. Dark on top and light on the bottom. It almost looks like they're rolling up. You can't really tell some of those numbers. But
it is. I hope that people watching the telecast can appreciate the difficulty of, how it runs off at the bottom of their number.
So we believe that was Nicholas Riley, and he looked to be okay as he walks off the field. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in here in short order for the Jaguars. Don't like to see anybody
Resuming play.
injured.
18.
So 4th and 18. Martin will step into punt, although we've seen him take off once tonight. Pierce Jackson and Snell back to receive, stand on their own 44. And he's going to roll left, and he's going to finally let it go. It's not a very good punt, but it will take a bit of a Jaguar bounce. It'll roll up to the Jaguar 47, and that's where the Flyers will take over 1st and 10.
Sam Swat played that perfectly right there.
No return.
As you said, the punter looks like he's, trying to just give as much time as he can for, the punt team to actually get down and cover something. So he's trying to eat up as much time as he can, and so he's fading to the outside. You really have to kind of force him to kick the ball. So Sam Swat played that well, got outside, and almost really, kicked, almost blocked the kick, just being in the right position.
So here come the Flyers again. Pretty good field position to start this drive. Just inside of midfield in Jaguar territory at the 47. Ebarb's going to, no, excuse me, that's Barlow now. Barlow is going to take the handoff, and he'll pick up a yard. Make it 2nd and 9.
Barlow, gain of 2.
I feel like if the Flyers can go ahead and punch one more in here, you probably will see some of the younger players. At this point in the season in the playoffs, you certainly don't want to leave your starters in any longer than you have to and risk
Lafitte's pass incomplete.
any kind of an injury that would derail your playoff hopes.
Yeah, right there, that ball, didn't really Jacobs rolling to his left and didn't quite have, the muster to get the ball all the way there. It was kind of a deep out. So in that play right there, that's a tough throw to make.
So 3rd and 8. Flyers in no hurry. 8 minutes, 21 seconds left in the third quarter. Flyers lead at 28-0. David Winkler, John Carmody, and the highly underutilized tonight Art Carmody on the sideline. Pass is complete to Brandon Williams, but they say his knee was down when he caught it, so unfortunately that will be a loss of 5 back to midfield.
Not only was that, he doesn't put his knee down there, and he is walking into the end zone. That offensive line got out there, and they blocked that beautifully. He had a lane, and with Brandon's speed, that was a touchdown right there.
So the Flyer punting unit will come onto the field for, I believe, the first time tonight, John. If
I believe you're right, David.
So Monsieur stands at his own 36. Good snap. And he gets away a nice punt. That's going to go over the heads of the Jag receivers and be down at the 1-yard line. How about that?
What about the effort by Ian Birch?
49 yards on the punt. Ian Birch flying down the field and just able to stop it before it rolls into the end zone. So fantastic job. After a bit of a slow start, the Flyers special teams have certainly picked up the pace as the game progressed.
I'm telling you what, I don't care what level of football you're playing. The effort that Ian Birch just put out for that play to keep that ball from going to the end zone, you just don't see that.
So the Jaguars with their backs to the wall here. And that time St. Pierre's just going to keep it himself. He maybe got a yard there.
Yeah,
we'll give him a yard, make it 2nd and 9.
Cody Kilgallen's not going anywhere. He did a nice job of kind of stuffing up the middle right there.
Yeah, you don't really get the impression that the Jaguars are going to be able to make much hay between the tackles tonight.
Yeah, we've been able to watch these kids play for the Flyers all year long, and this is nothing that we haven't seen all year long. You continue to call these kids names, and it's everybody. It's all 11 on the defense. They really have a very sound defense with a good sound defensive scheme. And as we say that, they lose. They do a quick little trap on us, and we have people coming upfield, and so it creates that little gap. So again, you got to stay disciplined.
3rd and 3. 6:29 left here in the third quarter. Flyers lead it comfortably, 28-0. St. Pierre again, hands off to Heim. And Heim, again, maybe picked up a yard. I'm not even sure if he did that. Key there first for the Flyers.
No gain on the play.
They're going to say no gain.
Key
so
and
4th
Bodden
and 3.
both. I mean, again, it's these.
Correction, gain of
It's
1. It'll be
what you
4th
want to
and
see
2.
from your defense. I mean, you have
From the 9.
3rd and 3, and they're running a quick little dive right there, and you got to meet it quick, and they did a nice job of that.
So 4th and 3 here with Martin Dare to try to run this one like he did earlier in the football game. Surely the Flyers are aware at this point, and he doesn't even roll out this time for the first time tonight on a punt attempt. That ball's going to die at the 34 of the Jaguars, and the Flyer offense will take over, looking for a little bit better result than their last possession right here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to have themes going on here, but that first touchdown drive of the second half, it had a theme to it. And the theme was, Reese Barb. And so, it's a formula that works.
Well, call me crazy, but up 4 scores with more than half the third quarter gone, you've got a great ground game, use it in the game.
But Reese may be done. I mean, they may be looking at it and saying, okay, look, this seems to be in hand.
And I believe that is still Reese Barb.
Wes Barlow.
Nope, that is Wes Barlow. Sorry, Wes. Wes Barlow for...
I tell you what, the reason why you thought that was
he ran like
running very
he
strong.
did. That was a very Reese
Barlow
Barb-ish run.
It's
a 9-yard carry for Barlow, or maybe 8.5. Call it 2nd and 2. Lafitte's going to look to throw. He looks downfield. He's got a man. Touchdown Flyers! Chase Jackson for a 26-yard touchdown reception. Jacob Lafitte working on a pretty good night tonight.
Not only a good night, I mean, that is an exceptional, that's that little wheel route. So you're trying to get the inside receiver all the way to the outside. And so it is all about timing. And Jacob stood his ground and really put the ball exactly where it needed to be. Really, Chase was the only one who actually could make that catch. It was a nice job.
So Mansour looks to stay perfect here. On the night, he's 4 for 4. Broadcaster jinx, hopefully not. And his extra point is good. There's no such thing as the broadcaster jinx, John.
I'm telling you one thing, that ball, I think it barely got over the goalpost.
It was almost.
You tried to jinx him.
It was the baby jinx. So after that, the Flyers now lead it 35-0, and you almost wonder whether at some point the running clock may not come into play here. Not sure if the running clock scenario will play out in the playoffs the way it does in the regular season, but we've seen similar scores and time situations turn into a running clock this year.
Yeah, but I really like that whole series right there. I like seeing Wes Barlow come in and running the ball hard.
To kick off.
I mean, we've seen Barlow, in spot situations throughout the year, and he really does a nice job. I mean, he runs hard with the football.
Here's another Mitchell special, and ball's fumbled on the ground, but they're going to say the ground caused it. He was down before the ball came out, and I think that's the right call.
I agree with you, but again, I like that kick. I really like that one. Had a hard kind of middle kick that caught a weird bounce, and really the two Thomas Jefferson players actually are the ones who caught it and made the tackle.
So the Jaguars will start from their own 27. .447 left here in the third quarter. Flyers lead it comfortably, 35-0. Noah St. Pierre will look to throw. He's looking downfield, and again he's got a man, and that pass is Incomplete once
Pass is
again.
incomplete. There's a
Patrick
flag on the
Arriaga had a step on his man, but the pass was behind him. There is a flag on the play. And the Flyers seem to feel like this is going to go against Thomas Jefferson. Personal foul against Thomas Jefferson, so this will march back 15 yards and make it 1st and 25.
Yeah, that's twice they've gone to the deep middle, looking.
Penalty moves the ball back to the 12-yard line.
Looking to expose the Flyer secondary. And again, it's one of the things that you don't want your game tape to show that that's something that you're weak at.
12.
St. Pierre's going to hand off to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez will get it up to the 15 where he'll be stopped. It'll be a gain of 3, make it 2nd down and 22.
Gonzalez, stopped by Pierce Jackson, Luke Hamiter.
And those are 3 familiar names
Gain
to
of
us.
3.
Chase Jackson,
2nd
Luke
and 22
Hamiter,
to
Ian
15.
Birch, all right there to meet him for, essentially 0 yards on the carry.
St. Pierre looks downfield, and he takes the check down to his back. Heim.
Pass is caught by Heim.
And
Hamiter makes the
Heim
stop
will pick up
at the 18,
a couple of
gain
yards
3,
there before Hamiter
3rd and 19.
brings him down.
And again, Sam Swak is chasing him down. He does the right thing of throwing to the quickest place he can get, but Luke Hamiter was right on that too. So great play all the way around for the Flyer defense.
So 3rd and 19. They need the 37 here for a first. And he's looking for it, and that pass is going to be complete. Nice pitch and catch that time. St. Pierre finally connected with his man, Arriaga, and
Dylan
Williams makes the tackle, but not before Thomas Jefferson is able to pick up a 30-yard gain and a 1st down.
Yeah, and that one's one that really should have been knocked down or picked off. He threw into double coverage right there. And the ball was hanging up. I think the 2 Flyer defenders were maybe expecting each other to go after it, and the receiver actually went after it.
So 1st down from their own 48, go the Jags. St. Pierre's pass is incomplete. He wanted Torrey Lee, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And again, you can see what press coverage did right there. So Josh Jackson came up and pressed him. The quarterback looked for him early. There was nothing there because Josh Jackson was covering him. And so the wide receiver tried to break outside. Josh Jackson was right on him as he broke outside too. So, the quarterback that was all he was looking for right there, is trying to get a quick little inside pass to him, and Josh Jackson, because of the press coverage, took it away.
And that's Gonzalez on the carry. He'll pick up a couple.
Gonzalez carries
and met by Luke Hamiter and Ian Birch again. So again, the same thing. These guys are there in their hole, where they're supposed to be for their gap responsibility. And they're getting credit for the tackles, but the defensive ends, the nose guard, they're where they're supposed to be. So those are the people that are unblocked, and they're making the plays. So everybody's playing it the way you need to be doing it.
St. Pierre under pressure. He's finally able to get the throw off. He just kind of throws it away. He intended for Torrey Lee, and that'll bring up 4th and 8.
And Coach Dylan Jackson did a nice job there. He brought Luke Hammer off the edge and really kind of flushed the quarterback out of the pocket. And then as he came out to the flats, Michael Key did a great job, and he closed it down. And again, he had nowhere to go with the football.
So 4th and 8, and with the season on the line, Thomas Jefferson is going to opt to go for this at midfield. They'll need the 42. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. It looked like they were set up to go for it. Martin's going to go ahead and punt, and that's going to roll down to the
23 yards
Loyola
on the punt.
27-yard line. 23-yard punt,
No
and that's
return.
where Jacob
Fire
Lafitte and
ball
the
at the
Flyers
27.
will take over.
And it may seem like a little thing, but Sam Zwak is coming in, and he is just – it's a left-footed kicker, and so he's on the right side. He's going up there to make sure that, he puts enough pressure on him that the kicker is actually kicking it, and it's really kind of interesting because he's kind of giving a half-hearted wave at trying to block it, which is the right thing to do. There's no reason to get a –
certainly don't want to give him a fresh set of downs there.
Exactly right.
Cooper DeFata in a quarterback.
So Cooper DeFata
Keyshawn English.
and Keyshawn English now in the Flyer backfield. So just as we suspected, John, the Flyer youngsters getting a look here late in the third quarter.
I think that's still Jacob Lafitte. I see Cooper DeFata down on the sideline. I think that they're reading 9 as a 6. And
you know what? I believe you may be right, John.
Well, they do have.
But that is English for sure.
I believe they have Nathan Lorette in at wide receiver, so they are getting, additional players some playing time here.
And that pass is incomplete.
Lafitte's pass incomplete.
Who was that?
To Ellis Tompkins.
That looked like, yes, that was Ellis Tompkins with the rare target right there. He may wish he didn't get that target because he got walloped at the 25.
He did. They were kind of sitting there waiting for that. But, Ellis does a lot of the dirty work. As that H-back / tight end, they put him in motion a lot, and he is lead blocking a lot. So it's good to see him actually get some throws his way.
Feet looks downfield, and that time he's got Brandon Williams. Williams will have it all the way up to the 38-yard line. That'll be good enough for a Flyer first down, gain of 11.
Pass complete to Brandon Williams.
It was a nice rollout by Jacob and a nice throw to the sidelines. So it looks like A.J. Taylor and Trey Taylor are getting a break for the rest of this game.
Keyshawn English with his first carry of the night, and it's a pretty good one. He'll get it up to the 40.
The ball carrier.
Like he had an opportunity for more, but they were able to drag him down after a gain of 2, make it 2nd and 8.
But you're right. I mean, the way he was running right there, you look for good things to happen. He was really charging forward, trying to get extra yards.
Flag on the play.
There is a flag on the play. It's going to be a penalty.
Personal foul.
Horse collar tackle. And that'll move it 15 yards towards
penalty will move the ball to the 40.
the Jaguar end zone.
That makes more sense on why he came down so easily. It was interesting because he was running with a lot of steam. I was kind of surprised he wasn't able to break that tackle, but if it was a horse collar, then that certainly makes sense.
And the Flyers are going to get another 5 here after the nose guard for Thomas Jefferson makes contact at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 1st and 5 now from the 40.
And they're going to roll the clock. That should be the end of the quarter.
And the official says yes, do that. And
that's the end of the third quarter.
Is that. So looks like we're going to make another attempt to go to Art Carmody here.
David and John, we're heading into the fourth quarter. It's been all Flyers tonight as they're in a commanding 35-0 lead. Rough start early, but the Flyers have picked it up. Eventually to see if Coach Jeter puts in some of the backups, keeps his guys healthy for their second-round playoff game next week. First on the Flyers, 15 minutes away from their first playoff win since 2008. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Art. Glad Art was able to finally make his mark on the game here with 12 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Feel bad for poor Art. He's down there freezing on the field.
the audience probably got more value out of his 20 seconds than the rest of our commentary the whole game.
The start of the fourth, Flyers lead at 35-0 and looking for more. 1st and 5 from the Jaguar 40. English on the handoff will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Correction, English the ball carrier.
2nd and 5.
Gain of 1.
It was a nice play by the defensive end right
Second
there.
down, 4.
English did have a nice hold. That defensive end doesn't come and make the play. I think English does get sizable yardage there.
Flyers in no hurry, nor should they be, up 5 scores. Lafitte's pass is complete. And that's a new name to call for us. That is Nathan Lorette. So Lorette gets in the scorebook.
And he did a nice job right there. Nice little wide receiver screen. He cut it inside of his block, which is what he should have done, and advanced it up the field. Nice job.
6 yards on the reception will give the Flyers a fresh set of downs. English on the carry again. Keeps his feet moving. Keyshawn English takes it down to the 27 of the Jaguars. That's a gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd and 4.
And really, I mean,
his scores: Evangel 70, Edie White 14, third quarter. Green Oaks 26, Gina 6, fourth quarter. Calvary 52, St. Frederick 6, third quarter. Lakeside leads North Caddo 33-12 in the fourth quarter.
Evangel, the most horribly underseeded team in playoff history, already has 70 in the third. We just heard over the loudspeaker.
English, the ball carrier, tackled by Nicholas Riley.
The Flyers
to the 19.
with a potential matchup with said Evangel, should they be able to upset their second-round opponent, St. Thomas More. Fortunately for the Flyers, at least if they're around in the third round, that game would be here at Mesmer Stadium.
Captain Shreve 21, John Everett 7, fourth quarter.
I really like English's run right there. There's a nice hole opened up on the right side of the offensive line.
English again on the carry. English stays on his feet, maybe picks up a yard. That's about it.
By Gabriel Hingle.
Make it 2nd and 9.
Gain of 1, second down, and 9.
Wes Barlow on the carry again for the Flyers. He'll take it down to the 16-yard line. That'll be a 2-yard game.
Third and 7.
Third and 7.
And that was a hard-fought 2 yards right there. He got a nice block
Bossier was defeated 46-14.
Ellis Tompkins to free him up.
Huntington and Bill Chase are tied 14 all in the third quarter. Airline leads 48-14 in the fourth quarter.
8 minutes left here in the football game. Flyers just looking to run the clock out here, more or less. I'm sure they'd like to put a few more points on the board, and they certainly do right there.
Pass incomplete.
Pass is incomplete, intended for Lorette, and that'll bring up a 4th and 7, and Mansour will come out to attempt. No, excuse me. That's
Avon Smith.
Avon Smith will come out to attempt a field goal for the Flyers.
Nathan Lorette to hold.
It will be a field goal of 30. It'll be an attempt of 33 yards, it looks like. And Luke Albin, a little late getting onto the field, but
33 yards on the field.
He makes it out there with 4-3-2,
and
they're going to get the delay of game penalty. So Luke Albin may have a little, as they say, splaining to do when he gets back over to the sideline. Sure, Avon appreciates another 5 yards to add to his kick here.
They waved it off.
They're going to wave it off. They say Loyola. Yeah, Loyola.
Timeout Flyers.
Went ahead and called a timeout there. So it will remain a 33-yard attempt.
Once again, thanks to our All-American sponsor.
Again, there's no
Autobody
wind to
Express,
speak of.
Baker
So
Machine, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Jimmy Granger.
Nothing overly complicated about this attempt if you're Avon Smith.
Yeah, it was interesting that the Flyers called that timeout to just save the 5-yard penalty. And then Thomas Jefferson coaches were like, well, it was a timeout. Why hasn't our defense been able to come over here to the sidelines? Nobody moved for the Flyers, and the defense just kind of sat there.
So here we go. Again, 33 yards on the attempt for Avon Smith. And the holder not able to hold on to it. Smith doing his best Reese Ebarb impersonation, but he fumbles. And let's see who comes over that. No, ball still on the ground. It's the greatest fumbled again. And finally, Luke Hamiter picks it up, but they say the ball was down. So in what could be the most exciting play that's happened here all night tonight, John, the Flyers will
they're not many
lose
times,
a few yards.
There's not many times you fumble the ball twice in one play. But
Twice, I believe that was 3 times at least.
You know,
I'm sure Coach Mitchell doesn't think it's nearly as entertaining as we just did.
not only that, but you might want to teach how to carry the football. Carrying it like a loaf of bread gets you in trouble a lot of times. That ball popped out pretty easy.
I did like the Barry Sanders-esque little slide there, the little ankle break move. But yes, ball security, probably not the thing Avon Smith's working on in practice every week, so we can cut him some slack
Without
for that.
Without a doubt. And that was just, that was tough. The hold didn't get down. He never really had a chance to really address the kick at all. He did a nice job of picking it up and trying to do something with it. It didn't look like they had really a fire call at all. Didn't see anybody releasing to give him any outlets for pass opportunity.
So after all of that, flag is picked up, and it was thrown on the play.
It'll be first down, Thomas Jefferson.
First down for Thomas Jefferson at the
Ball at
Jag
the 30-yard line.
30-yard line. 7 minutes, 33 seconds left to play. Flyers lead it comfortably 35-0. We have a flag on the play.
We have offsides.
It looks like it. So
Penalty against the Flyers.
after they mark the 5 yards off, it'll make it 1st and 5.
They must have had somebody line up. I didn't see anybody move.
Gonzalez will take the handoff, break a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and maybe pick up a yard before he's finally brought down. We'll make it.
Gonzalez tackled by.
We'll give him
Bodden
2 yards
Hammeter.
before Bodden brought him down. Make it 2nd and 3.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 3.
This time St. Pierre is going to keep it, and he'll make it right back to the line of scrimmage. And that is it. Zwack got there, and it looks like St. Pierre. No, excuse me, that's a big lineman that time.
Loss of 1.
Looks like
3rd.
Desmond Logan, maybe.
Really, I mean, that again,
3.
that play
He's
was
back down
was
again.
made by Jonathan Durrell. He had outside containment very well, kind of clean, brought him back inside, and it was cleaned up by Sam Zwack.
So, John, looking to the future, I think it's safe to say we can officially start talking about the second round of the LHSAA Division II playoffs. The Flyers will play the winner of St. Louis, number 5 seed, and St. Michael the Archangel, the number 12 seed. We have not heard
Final score,
a
St. James
score,
28, Mansfield
so we have
0.
absolutely no idea which team we will play. We figure it'll be St. Louis, but we don't
Fourth
know
quarter,
that.
Captain 34, John Ehret 7.
Loyola being the 4 seed,
Airline 55.
and both teams
Southside
having played at
14.
home tonight. Should St. Louis go on to win, like we think they will,
Final score,
Loyola
Magnum
will be
54,
at home
Jonesboro
again
5-6.
next week for the second round.
And, we know St. Louis well. I mean, St. Louis was the team that knocked us out of
Ritter
the
leads
playoffs
14-13
last year. And
in the
again,
fourth
the Flyers, of course, had to deal with a lot at the end of last season, and with Coach Jeter getting sick and being absent for the last part of the district play and then the playoff games. It's it was a tough time for the Flyer team. So they know what St. Louis does. It's going to be interesting to see how many of those St. Louis players graduated off of that team. What I remember well is they ran the ball very well, really between the guards with a lot of quick hitting plays and really hurt our defense substantially last year on those things. They were a well balanced team. So the Flyers, we've been playing very well defensively. St. Louis, if that's who it is, presents a challenge. They play a different type of football than a lot of the teams that we played this year. But this team today, Thomas Jefferson really kind of plays a different brand of football, and the Flyers have played it very well in this game.
3rd and 3 at the 37.
So 3rd and 3, 6 minutes left in the football game. Glad to see the young Jaguar make it off the field under his own recognizance there. St. Pierre is going to tuck it, and he'll have a first down up to the 41-yard line. It'll be a 4-yard gain for Noah St. Pierre.
St. Pierre carries. Bodden and Lorette make the stop. Gain to the 42. It's a gain of 5 and a first down for the Jaguars.
The Jaguars in no hurry themselves. Down 5 scores, just looking for something positive to take back to Gretna with them at this point. Gonzalez takes the handoff. He'll cross the 41 up to the 42.
Gonzalez stopped by
Maybe gain a yard on the play, and that'll make it 2nd and 9.
And this is what I like to see right here. The defense is playing this game out.
Gain of
I mean,
1.
you know, they're not.
2nd and 9.
They're going side to side. There you have Jack Bodden, you know, still high energy going from, you know, sideline to sideline to make plays. Luke Hammerter, you know, again in another tackle. I don't know how many tackles Luke Hammerter's had tonight between, you know, solo tackles and assists. He seemed like he'd been on everything tonight.
St. Pierre looks deep and well covered that time was Christian Peterson.
Flag on the play.
There's a late flag on the play. John, I'm not really sure.
I don't know
if he
how
calls
in the
that
world you
pass
can call
interference.
it.
I don't get it because
he is going to call it because. But he had a terrible angle, and you know,
that
again,
was a weak call if he calls that.
Yeah, I mean, neither person really looked back for the ball. I mean, he may be saying that Snell didn't turn his head, but the receiver never even made a play on the ball. I don't think he saw the ball coming down. So, you know, both players just kind of running side by side. But again, I mean, it's a tough call. From his angle, it may look different. It's easier to see it up here.
So they're going to call it defensive holding.
Holding is the call.
Instead of a pass interference, which at least is slightly more believable than pass interference. But any which way, it still results in a Jaguar first down across midfield at the Flyer 47. 10-yard penalty. 4 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the football game. And that handoff goes to Frank Smith, who'll pick up about 6 yards before he's finally brought down at the Flyer 41.
Frank Smith carries. He's tackled by Neo Brock.
And so they have
6, 2nd and 4.
Looks like they have Nathan Lorette, 18, in there playing one of the safety positions. Again, right there, you know, he came up. He had a chance to get him on the outside right at the line of scrimmage. And running back was able to escape.
St. Pierre's going to look to throw
That's an interception
again, and
right
that
there.
is almost picked off. Look for a good long second.
St. Pierre's pass incomplete. Broken up by
it looks
Pierce
like that
Jackson.
Pierce Jackson there was going to come down with it, but he just couldn't quite hang on as he went to the ground.
And I don't know if maybe Neo Brock's helmet knocked that ball as he came back, or if he just kind of, you know, lost control of the football. But that was he was the only person who had to play on that football.
St. Pierre's pass incomplete.
Pass is incomplete. It'll bring up 4th and 4.
He wanted Arriaga, and that'll bring up 4th and 4. Three minutes and 29 seconds left here in the game, and I think I can speak for everybody up here in the booth and most of the people in the stands. We'll be glad when that 3:29 is finished because it's cold.
It is, but this is, you know, this is the complete game we talked about early that we needed to see. You know, this is what the Flyers
St. Pierre's pass incomplete.
needed to do
for Lee.
Again, the Flyer
Ball
defense
over to
can
the Flyers.
walk off right now with a complete game and really should be a shutout. They should be able to hopefully close out this game in the last 3 minutes.
So the Jaguars not able to convert, and let's see if Jacob Lafitte or Cooper DeFatta will come out onto the field. Looks like the Flyer offense is having a little conversation before they step out onto the field, which leads me to believe that we may see a whole lot of new faces right here. Let's see.
There are a lot of new faces. It looks like they're just going to maybe kneel on the ball here. Oh, no.
No.
Maybe not.
And that is Cooper DeFatta at quarterback for the Flyers. And let's see, he handed off to Wes Barlow that time for a nice run up to the midfield, gain of 9. Make it 2nd and 1. And looks like we have an injured Jaguar down on the field, but Chris Sterling, I believe it was, he was taking a knee anyway, makes his way off. Jaguars, tell you what, you got to take your hats off to them, John. We haven't seen much substituting going on over there. Of course, they don't have a very big roster to begin with, but they are certainly playing some Iron Man football over there.
Exactly
most of those guys have gone both ways, or most of their main players have gone both ways all night. Or a lot, I shouldn't say most, a lot of them have. DeFatta's going to keep this one, and Cooper's able to step up, but he's going to be brought down for about we'll say he got back to the line of scrimmage, or almost.
3rd and 2.
Make it 3rd and 2.
49 of Loyola.
I think both teams would be content for this to be the last possession here.
Barlow is going to take this up to the 49, and boy, he's right there on the first down, and let's see what they say. Are they actually going to measure this?
First down.
Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
My goodness. Oh, yeah, it's right there. They're going to have to measure that.
So, John,
they might want to let the clock tick for the.
It's my favorite thing to talk about in these games, the fact that
ball is on the
high school officials.
There we go.
Never want to measure.
There we go.
Ever.
That's got to be a first down.
All season long, I think we've seen one measurement.
First down, gain of 2, first down Flyers.
But they give them the first down.
Yes. In the controversy, Dave. They're going to surprise we're not in victory formation at this point, but
John, that makes 2 of us, but we're not. I assume the coaching staff would like to see their young players get a little bit of work in here in a game where they have an opportunity to do it. Minute left. They're certainly not in any hurry.
There we go. I think he is going to go into victory formation right now. They may get delay a game.
And they do. So 52 seconds left, and
which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they just let the time run off on.
After the delay of game, that'll move the ball back to the 46-yard line. But it's really immaterial at this point. Just trying to snap the ball a couple more times and get this one in the books. Move on to the second round of the playoffs.
They're going to call the ball movement right there. Another penalty.
And the Flyer youngsters seem to want to stay on the field, John.
For some reason.
They are doing everything they can to milk their moment in the sun here.
We may be doing the victory formation.
So one more time here.
Ball start on the Flyers.
And
all right, hey, we completed
it. Score in Division 2, U-High 49, Lusher Charter 0.
So we just got a U-High score, 49. Let's say 49-2 there over Lusher, something like that.
I think 49-0 is
49-0 over Lusher, U-High, and
but people need to understand who's
the
listening.
Top seed holds there.
Yeah, I mean, who's listening to the telecast. This Division 2, is a monster division. I mean, the Flyers are really, I think, lucky to be at that 4 seed. They are on a different side of the bracket right now from University, but they're going to have to end up facing the likely St. Thomas More and Evangel winner if they can make it through the next round.
And that's going to do it. As the final seconds tick off here in Mesmer Stadium, the Flyers are going to win their first playoff game in 11 years. Your final 35-0 over the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first playoff
Fantastic
win for the
game by the Flyers, as you
2008.
mentioned earlier, John. A complete game. The defense played tremendous, controlled the line of scrimmage all night. The Flyer offense balanced. Jacob Lafitte had a very good game throwing the ball. Reese Barb did his normal thing, running the ball. Coach Jeter has to be really proud. They certainly have a couple of mistake-type penalties, silly things on some early stuff in the special teams game that they want to clean up, because as they move forward against better competition, they're not going to be able to afford to do those kind of things. But all things being equal, first round in the books, you got a big win, and now it's time to move on to the second round, where no matter what, whoever wins that game that's next to us in the bracket between St. Louis and St. Michael the Archangel, the Flyers will be at home here next week. We don't know. We assume it'll be Friday night at 7 o'clock, but I guess you can't guarantee that at this point.
Now, we can't guarantee that they're going to be here next week, because if the lower-seeded team actually wins, then they've played an away game in the first round. They will get a home game.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take your word for that one. Something in the back of my mind told me that the higher seeded got to stay home in this playoff bracket.
I believe that only
higher seed stays home no matter what, right? No, if the lower seed wins on the.
I believe
we're consulting our expert Kyle Tanner here in the background. Kyle confirms what Coach Carmody has just said. So just go ahead and flog me now for passing out bad information.
Nobody would. This is really a great scene. I hope the camera is able to catch the student section coming in to celebrate with the players. This is really, like I said, David, 11 years, is that right? 11 years?
11 years, 2008.
So, this has been a special season to watch. We've talked about, the beginning of the season, how, we didn't know what we had as far as certain things go, but look how it's played itself out. We had a sophomore quarterback. He certainly came to age during the season. We've had, some unknown receivers. They have all stepped up. The known commodity that we had was Reese Ebarb, but again, he was coming off an injury, and so all these pieces have really held very well. The glue of the offense, to me, has really been the offensive line. They have allowed the running game. They've allowed Jacob Lafitte to mature, really giving him good protection. So, this is a very complete team. We've heard other coaches say this about the Loyola Flyer team. Are there, your exceptional athletes? No. But this team across the board, defensively and offensively, plays together. And that's one of the great things, is to watch them celebrate together and to watch the student section come out here and celebrate with this team. This is a well-deserved win.
And another thing, it seems like this season, not seems like, it's true, that, it seems like in previous seasons, the Flyers, when playoffs came around, there was just always seemed to be some key player that was injured or something. Last year it was the unfortunate health issues for Coach Jeter. And years before it's been one of their key players being hurt. This team hasn't had that issue coming into the playoffs. They're healthy. Everybody's good to go. Playing at home. I mean, everything is really shaped up really nicely for the Flyers. So, once again, your final here, Loyola 35, Thomas Jefferson 0. We don't expect an upset in the part of the bracket next to us. We feel pretty confident St. Louis should win that game, and we will be here on the air next Friday around 7 o'clock, probably at 7 o'clock, but we can't guarantee that yet until all that gets worked out. We've enjoyed bringing this one to you. It's been a fun one, and hopefully next week we'll even be better than this one, John, because we're still playing. It's late November, and the Flyers still have football left in front of them, so that's a good thing.
And those that are listening to our telecast, I'd say this one last thing. If the bracket plays itself out and Evangel would end up having to play St. Thomas More, if Evangel ends up, beating St. Thomas More, it is, as David said earlier in the telecast, it is likely the Flyers might have a third home game in the playoffs that would be here. So, Flyer fans, we hope that we can bring you further games into the playoffs.
The opportunity is certainly there if the Flyers can take advantage of it. So for Gage Bowman, our producer, cameraman Julia Smith, Kyle Tanner, John James Marshall, Art Carmody on the sideline, although Art was highly underutilized tonight. We'll try to get him some more work next week. John Carmody, I'm David Winkler. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week right here from Mesmer Stadium, hopefully. You've been watching Flyer football from LCP TV. Good night. See you next week.